Welcome back, guys, and welcome back to another retro video. I know that with the World Tournament coming up next month, a lot of people are going to be interested in the side events, such as Retro and 3v3, and I thought I'd give you another retro character that I have a lot of fun playing. This is Astaroth 2 from the Soul Calibur 6 DLC, which is a product that has 4 different characters, each one coming with its own attack and foundation card, and Astaroth was part of that. So Astaroth is a 5 hand size 37 health character with air, earth, and fire symbols. We've got 2 responses and a form here. Response: after you commit 1 or more foundations to pass the check to play an attack, that attack is plus X damage. X equals the total printed difficulty of the foundations committed. This is a deck that throws really big bombs. We also have response: after your attack deals its printed damage or greater, ready 1 foundation that has not been readied this combat phase. So you can ready up because you want to play high difficulty attacks. You get to commit your cards to get more damage, and then ready up your cards after they deal damage. And then we have form once per turn, so you can use this ability anytime during your turn at which you could play a card from your hand. And it's once per turn. Your next attack gets plus X difficulty. If it deals damage, flip one of your rival's cards with X or less difficulty. So how this ability works is you could say my next attack is going to get plus 5 difficulty. And if it deals damage, I get to flip a card in my rival's stage, a non-character card, obviously, that costs 5 or less. Again, this deck can throw huge bombs, and as a 5-hander, you're probably not going to draw many attacks. So what you could do, and how I played it, is when I drew the 1 attack I wanted to play, I would calculate if I checked a 3, what is the highest my difficulty can go, where if I check a 3, I can commit every foundation in my stage and still pass, and then give all of that damage to that attack. And the main attack that I threw is a wicked card called Dragon's Tongue. This is a 7 difficulty, 3 control, 5 mid for 7, 1 mid block, breaker 2, powerful 5, and weapon. So breaker 2 means if we block with it, our rival's next check gets -2. Powerful 5 means we can spend any number of our own momentum, and for each momentum we spend for this ability, we get plus 5 damage. As a static ability, the speed of this attack cannot be modified. So it cannot be increased, it cannot be decreased, it cannot be changed. But as a first enhance, so the first enhance we play during this attack, if this is the first card we've played this turn, destroy all assets and all foundations in both player stages. We wipe the board. No more enhances may be played during this attack's enhance step. After this attack resolves, your combat phase ends. This ability cannot be cancelled. This is an ultra rare from 7th Cross, and it is amazing. So imagine, I've got 10 foundations. I use Astaroth's form and say, if I check a 3, and I have 10 foundations, the highest I could put this up to is 13, so I'll give this plus 6 difficulty, play this on a 13, check a 3, commit all 10 of my foundations, nuke the board. For your sake, I hope you have a +1 mid block, and check a 5, and commit your character for the 6, or a +0 mid and check a 5, because if you check a 3 trying to block this, I'm gonna OTK you. And it's not even close. It is ridiculous. So this attack is crazy. And it's just awesome because you don't have to worry about committing your... you don't have to worry about any of your foundations. You're just going to blow them all up anyway, so you might as well commit them to dunk a whole bunch of damage on this attack. But the last time I built this deck was pre-Attack on Titan. So we've got Attack Titan's Haymaker. A 5/3, 4 mid for 5, 2 high block, shift, stun 2, punch, and titan. Shift is a static that says after the during the end phase, when you would clear this card from your card pool, if you've played it, you may build it as a foundation. And the foundation becomes Aaron's Determination. So stun 2 also says we can force our rival to commit 2 foundations. And as a blitz, this card cannot be blocked by cards with a printed difficulty of 2 or less. So if our rival has only low diff foundations in their hand, this is unblockable, which is a good thing to put a whole crap ton of damage on with Astaroth. And then when this builds down into Aaron's Determination, we can enhance Mill 1, our attack gets +1 damage. If we have 10 or less health, it gets +2 damage instead. Another great attack on Titan card is Besiege. A 3 difficulty, 3 control, 3 mid for 4, 1 mid block, charge, and fury. As a blitz, this attack can only be blocked by cards with a printed block modifier of 3 or greater. And then as a deadlock blitz, so if our rival has at least 11 foundations, this attack is +4 damage. Now as a 3 diff, it's kind of hard to commit a lot of cards to, pass the check to play this card, especially as a 5-hander. We're not stringing out. But that's where our buddy Astaroth comes in, increasing the difficulty of our Besiege and just dunking on people, hoping they don't have the big block modifiers. Astaroth also works very good with throws, because this boy does not say non-throw. So we've got Colossus Titan attacks, a 10 difficulty attack. We check a 5, we commit 5 foundations, we get 5 foundations worth of difficulty onto this throw. 6 mid for 10, 4 control, 1 mid block, shift, throw, Titan. As a blitz, we get to add the top 2 cards of our deck to our momentum, which doesn't really matter because the only momentum out we really have is Dragon's Tongue's Powerful, and we're probably not using Dragon's Tongue's Powerful. But this is just a big, beefy throw attack that we can yeet at our rival. And we also have, when it shifts into the Colossus Titan, a 10 stamina backup. That is a form. We can commit it and lose 6 stamina. Our rival discards 2 cards and flips 2 foundations. So if our rival goes into our turn with only 2 cards in their hand, and we've got Colossus Titan on board, we can rip those last 2 cards out of their hand and dump all of our foundation power into one huge attack. Also, as a response, if it leaves our card pool, we get to draw a card, and we can commit it and lose 1 stamina to give +2 damage to an attack. Another throw we love to have is Titan Bomb. This is Astaroth's attack from his DLC. It is a 6 difficulty, 3 control, 4 high for 6 with a 2 high block, fury, and throw. While it is in our card pool, all other attacks get +1 difficulty. So not only does it make it so that we so that we have to commit more foundations and thus give more damage to our attacks, but should we block with this card, our rival's attacks will get +1 difficulty for the rest of the turn. Sort of a pseudo breaker on every single attack they play, which could boost us defensively. And as an enhance, if this attack deals damage, ready X foundations that have not been readied this combat phase. X equals the damage dealt. We could do, if we open this and like a Besiege, we can open it with Titan Bomb, give it a bunch of damage, because we're likely going to have to commit at least 1 foundation, and we have plenty of foundation damage boost in our stage anyway. It's a throw, so it's going to deal at least half damage rounded up, even if it's completely blocked, and we can ready a whole bunch of foundations as a result. And then we have another throw, Reverse Shoulder Launch, a 5/3, 3 mid for 4, no block modifier, so we can't block with it, but this throw is a reversal. Reversal is a keyword ability that's response in your hand. After you block an attack, you get to reveal this card in your hand, add it to your card pool, and attempt to play it as an attack after that rival blocked attack resolves. You get to attack your rival on their turn, kind of like Rising Uppercut or Aerial Kokosho, but without the drive. You just reveal this card in your hand, play it. This is also playing an attack, so if we have to commit foundations in our stage to play this reversal, we get to boost its damage with Astaroth, and then if it deals greater than its printed damage, we also get to ready another foundation. So reversals kind of good with Astaroth. He's one of the few 5-handers that kind of does want to play reversals that isn't specifically kitted out for reversals. And as an enhance, if this attack deals less than its printed damage, so if it deals less than 4 damage, commit X rival foundations, X equals the damage dealt. So let's say we give this 2 damage because we had to commit a 2 difficulty move, and our rival didn't want to take 6 damage. They block, they take 3, we commit 3 of their foundations. We get to choose to commit their 3 best foundations on their turn because we gave our attack a big damage boost. Pretty cool. There aren't any assets in this deck because I was having trouble loading up Rochester's CCG, but there is an asset I would play. And that is Team Fatal Fury. This is a 3 difficulty, 5 control, 3 high block, ally unique. Form, sacrifice this asset, draw X cards. X equals the number of attacks in your card pool, minus the number of cards in your rival's card pool. That's fine. It's mainly here for the form commit. Your rival adds 1 card from their discard pile to their card pool. So this is a way to give you pseudo speed on your Dragon's Tongue. You use this form ability, they add a card to their card pool. You use your form with Astaroth, throw a huge, pretty much unblockable at this point, Dragon's Tongue for likely their entire life total, because the 1 card in their card pool increases their difficulty, so 5 plus the 1. So unless they have a 0 block and their character's ready and they check a 6 or a 5, so it's going to be tough. The math checks out that if you can put a card in their card pool with Team Fatal Fury, they're likely not going to block your lethal Dragon's Tongue. But because this is a King of Fighters 13 card, I wanted to make sure it wasn't incredibly expensive before I added it. And Rochester's site wasn't loading for me, but I had just managed to look it up before I recorded. These are only about 8 to 10 bucks on RochesterCCG.com, so pretty good if you wanted to toss that in here. Just to make your big attacks land easier. We also have the action Referee Jury, a 2/4, 2 mid-block, ally keyword. Enhance, change this attack's damage to 4. If it deals damage, draw a card. We're probably not going to be blocking a lot. We're going to be just face tanking a bunch of damage. So this is a great way to minimize some of that. Plus then we get to draw a card, which is good. And then response in our card pool, we can flip Referee Jury and commit 1 foundation. After our rival plays an enhance ability, they commit a foundation. So again, if we don't have the Dragon's Tongue, committing as many of their foundations as possible makes it harder for them to block our huge bomb attacks that we're throwing. But onto our foundations, we have Stables Work, a 1/4, 2 high block. Response after this foundation is ready during the combat phase, draw 1 card. So we can commit it for +1 damage with Astaroth, and then if we ready it with Titan Bomb or Astaroth, we just get to draw a card, which is good. Drawing cards is good, especially in a 5-hander. Moment of Normalcy, a 2/5, 3 high block, unique. Enhance commit, return this attack to its printed speed or damage. Just good defense. Mikasa defeats the female Titan, a 2/4, 3 low block. Response flip after you block an attack. That attack deals no damage. So again, we like having a little bit of defense here. Plus checking a 4 is a little bit better than checking a 5 for us because we want to commit our foundations. We have History's Greatest Monster, a 3/5, 2 mid block. Response once per turn, Tenacious, or playable while this card is committed. After you play a card with a printed difficulty of 5 or greater, ready this card, so we get to commit it to pass a check on, say, a Titan Bomb. And we get 3 damage thanks to Astaroth, and then we get to ready it so that we can commit it on our next attack and get more damage. And then as a deadlock enhance, if our rival has at least 11 foundations, we can commit History's Greatest Monster. Our attack gains throw. We just say we're going to guarantee a lot of this damage sticks. More defense with the Shobigen's Message, a 1/5/4 mid-block, ally, and unique. Response, flip after you play a block against Breaker 2. We have Enormous Axe. This kind of gets us a little bit ahead when we play the Dragon's Tongue. It's a 3/5/1 mid-block with the weapon keyword. After this foundation is destroyed, we get to build the top card of our deck face down. So we destroy a copy of this with Dragon's Tongue, we just get to build a foundation, and our combat phase does end, but we go into our next turn with 1 foundation guaranteed. Granted, face down foundations have a printed difficulty of 0, so committing them for to pass checks with Astaroth's abilities will not net us any damage, but it does help us rebuild a little bit after we've used our Dragon's Tongue. And then we can enhance commit. This attack is plus X damage. X equals the number of face down foundations in our stage, maximum 4. But this is a card I really love playing, Massive Size. This is a 5/5 2 mid block. This attack gets -2 difficulty if you have more health than your rival. We start at 37, so we're probably going to have more health than our rival for a while. And then enhance commit. This attack is plus X damage. X equals 10 minus your hand size. So we can commit it for plus 5 damage, or if we commit it to pass a check with Astaroth, we get plus 5 damage anyway. So really cool here. Vast Strength is a 2/4, 3 mid-block. Response remove. After an attack is played, it loses all non-keyword abilities. So things like Powerful, Echo, EX, Multiple, those will still stick around. But some other abilities that are printed on the attacks, like blitzes and stuff like that, will be just completely taken off the card. Defending Pageant Queen, some more defense, a 2/5/3 high block. Enhanced remove reduces attack speed to 1. Especially great if we're holding a shoulder launch, so we can try to block and then reversal our rival. Quick to Act, a 0/5/3 low block. Enhance if your current health is less than half of your maximum health. This attack gets +1 speed. As a 5-hander, we are going to be taking a lot of punches to the face. So this is a 0 difficulty foundation. Obviously, we won't want to play it to pass, commit it to pass our checks. But if we're at less than half health, we can just get speed on all of our attacks to make sure that damage lands. We have New Training Method, a 2/4 2 high block. Response, after we build this card, we get to build any foundation from our hand committed. So if we have multiple like massive sizes in our hand, like on our first turn, we play Massive Size on a 3, we play New Training Method, we maybe play like another 2 diff or a 1 diff, and then when we build the New Training Methods in, we get to build those high difficulty foundations straight into our stage without having to worry about passing the check to play them. And then response, commit, and flip. After you check a foundation, add it to your hand. So if we check a foundation we want, like History's Greatest Monster, Massive Size, or the next foundation we're going to talk about, we can just pick it up. And then we have Astaroth's own foundation, a Cataclysm is Born, a 3/5/1 high block. Response, after this foundation is committed to pass the check to play an attack, that attack gets +3 damage, and that's a tenacious response. Which means if you commit a Cataclysm is Born, and let's say that's the only foundation we commit to pass the check to play an attack. Between Astaroth response and the response on a Cataclysm is Born, we get +6 damage off the cuff. That's pretty good, because they're the same trigger window, so we get +6 damage from this one foundation. And then enhance, spend 1 momentum, ready this foundation. We can get this on every single attack that we play, and we could just keep going. Just +6 damage, +6 damage, +6 damage. It's nuts. More defense, we have Bakery Poster Girl, a 2/5/2 low block. Enhance, sacrifice, reduces attack speed to 0. Only playable if your opponent or rival has played 3 or more enhances this combat phase, and it is a tenacious ability, playable while committed. We've got the Dark Side of Karma, a 3/5/1 low block. As a static, each ability on this card is tenacious, so we can use all of this card's abilities while this card is committed. Response remove after an enhance ability is played on a non-character, non-weapon card, cancel it. So we can commit this to pass checks to play attacks for 3 damage, and then if our rival tries to say Filled with Doubt us, which would seal Dragon's Tongue instead of canceling its abilities, we can remove this tenacious foundation to cancel Filled with Doubt, because it's a non-weapon, non-character card. So it's good defense for protecting us from any sort of retribution like that. And then we have Enhance Flip, return this attack to its printed speed. We have To Avenge a Loved One, a 3/4 with no block, unique. Enhance remove if the speed or damage of your rival's attack is 6 or greater, reduce its damage to 0. Just really incredible defense there. And then Refusing to Let Go, a 3/5 with no block, unique. Enhance commit, return this attack's damage to its printed, and then give it +2 or -2 damage. So again, we're going to be tanking a lot of damage. We're not going to be blocking a lot unless we have like reverse shoulder launch or something, or we really need to preserve our health. So a lot of this damage reduction is really going to help us in the long run. Plus, imagine we commit Refusing to Let Go, and then we ended up having to block something, and then reverse shoulder launch, and then we dealt at least 4 damage, so we can ready Refusing to Let Go again. And again, cards with like Cataclysm is Born, we commit that on a reverse shoulder launch, that's a 10 damage throw right there, even if we're just committing the 1 Cataclysm is Born. So imagine playing this on like a 7. Like say we block with a Titan Bomb, and then play shoulder launch. So it's increased difficulty because of Titan Bomb to 6. So it's on a 7. We check a 3. If we can commit like 2 Massive Size and 2 Cataclysm is Born, that's 16 damage. That is a 20 damage reversal throw. And yeah, we're not going to get the enhance on it, because obviously it's not going to deal less than its printed damage. But we'll get to ready something with Astaroth, and that's not even to say if we have momentum to ready a Cataclysm is Born. And we can just huck these reversals at our rival and be like, hey, I'm just going to chuck this. Here's 20 damage. You want to block it and take 10 and maybe mess up your progressive for the rest of your turn because attacks are still going to get +1 difficulty? It's crazy. This guy can output so much damage, especially with that form once per turn. You know, I've got 10 foundations. I'm going to check a 3 maybe with on a Dragon's Tongue. I'm going to crank this up to 13, and I'm going to commit for +3, +5, +6. And I'm just going to make this Dragon's Tongue like 40, 50 damage. And if your rival just can't block it, because their mid block is like a +2, and they only have their character ready, and they have no foundations or assets, they're just, it's like that meme, I guess I'll die. It's crazy. It's really fun. My initial builds of this did have ways to recur Dragon's Tongue from momentum with cards like Dark Tournament Looms, which says it's an action that says enhance, remove, add 1 card from your momentum to your hand, and draw 1 card. So if you're worried about recursion, so you want to loop the Dragon's Tongue, you can. However, because you'd have to wait a turn anyway, it's kind of, you're probably only going to need to throw 1 Dragon's Tongue in a turn. And if that kind of withers out and it didn't get the kill, you're probably just going to fall back on throwing your throw attacks like Titan Bomb and Reverse Shoulder to launch anyway. You're probably not going to have time to build up a big stage into a second Dragon's Tongue normally. So it's probably just best to yeet the Dragon's Tongue and go for game in one big shot and just throw that when you know you've got the math on your side. But that is Astaroth 2. If you're a fan of bomb decks, this is a huge bomb deck for you. It is absolutely crazy. I love it, and especially with the addition of these new attacks that make it harder for your rival to block. They wear that damage really, really well. Besiege wears that form once per turn, increasing its difficulty really well. It is just wild. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did, and if you are not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel out a lot. And let me know what kind of retro characters you'd like to see in the future, and I'll maybe I'll make a video on those. I've done viewer requests before, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.